starting with Zat Hashem Daf Nun. We're starting from Mem Tet Amud Bet on the bottom. We commented the Mishnah said, "K'maaseu b'chol, kach maaseu b'Shabbat." The same way they did the Sukah on a regular day, that's the way they did it on Shabbat. But Rashi says that on a regular Sukah they would fill it up. Seems like in the morning. But on Shabbat they had to fill it from the day before. Shayam Mimale Me'erev Shabbat, Havit Shel Zahav, She'ena Mikdeshet Min HaShiloach, Umanicha B'Lishcha. So he used the Havit Shel Zahav She'ena Mikudeshet. That wasn't Kadosh as a Klei Sharet. The question is, why not? So it seems like it's a davar pashut that if you leave mayim in a kli sharet overnight, the kli sharet is mekadesh. The kli sharet is mekadesh the mayim. It becomes mayim kedoshim, and that mayim kedoshim will be nifsal belina, right? Because just like korbanot on nifsal, if they go over to the morning, so to the mayim kedoshim will be kadosh if it stays over till the morning.
Not all kadosh.
What?
Not all kadosh is over one night.
All anything I think going on the mizbeach is nifsal overnight. This is not something that you eat. This is something that's like emurim. It's atid to go on the mizbeach. So it's nifsal belina. That's why the kior. What do we do with the kior? We re-immerse it we mechaber it to the well. Right? Afu asa muchni lekior. So the kedei shelu yumimav nifsalim belina. So the Gemara says, "Va'amai neiti b'mekudeshet." Why don't you bring it in a kli that's mekudash? Rashi, "Va'amai neiti b'mekudeshet." The kasalka daitach. We think that you can avoid the kedusha. En akli mekadeshan kedushat aguf lipasel belina, ela em ken da'atoshi kadeshenu akeli. You need two things. First of all, you need to have in mind that the kli should be mekadesh. Over here, if you're worried that being mekadesh is going to be detrimental, it's going to cause it to be nifsal earlier, so have in mind that if you're putting in a kli mekudash, but it shouldn't be mekadesh. Shelo bekavana. You don't want to mekadesh. If you mekadesh it, no. If you mekadesh it from before, then you're afraid that in the morning by alot hashachar it's going to be nifsal belina.
So by putting in the kli mekudash,
what?
You want to do it in a non-mekudash.
Kli non mekudash. The water doesn't become kadosh yet. Amen. Or im yesh bahen yoter mikashi'ur. Or if you put too much there, en re'uyim lekeli, then that amount is not fitting for the keli. Ve'en akli mekadeshan. Ve'en mekachin ela hara'uilan. The keli is only mekadesh what's fitting for it. And if you have too much, it's not only for the keli. Gemara, no. Ama zi'iri kasavar. Two things the opposite of what you have amina was. En shi'ur lamayim. Ve'kli sharet mekachin shelo mida'at. He holds no, even though we said that you bring shlosha lugin. Why? Because that's the smallest size of nisuch that there is, right? Is revi'it hayim, which is shlosha lugin. He says that's the minimum. The Torah didn't give a minimum or a maximum. So when we look for a minimum, we went and we go see the smallest size nisuch that there is. But that's not to say that more than that is not ra'ui. If I bring more, it's also good. We're not going to say v'chol hamarbeh harei mishubach. Maybe it's not true, but it's not pasul. So in theory, if I brought a set of 3 lugim, 4 lugim, or 5 lugim, or 6 lugim, should bring big korban, right? So don't tell me, because if you fill up more, it won't be kadosh. It's not true. There's no. You never get to the point of that it's en ra'ui lakeli. It's always ra'ui lakeli. Second point is that kli sharet mekachin shelo midat. The kli sharet is mekadesh what goes into it even without intention. So you can't say fill it up and have in mind that it shouldn't be mekadesh. Kli sharet doesn't need that. Rashi, va'afilu eno rotzeh shehitkadesh שיקדשו עד מחר, מקדשים מיד שלא מידה.
That's why they use a different type of keli.
That's why they have to use a kli she'ein mekudash. ואם הייתי במקודשת, אפסולו להו בלינה. No questions asked. If it's mikudash, it's kadosh. Even if you put more, and even if you don't want. Rashi ho'il v'ikachu kedushat haguf. Sim became kadosh kedushat haguf. Havelahu ke'emure korban becomes like the pieces of a korban, and emure korban on nifsal belina by the morning. Chizkiya amar.
You don't have to burn the kelim after you finish using them.
No, you just put the water becomes masul. The kli doesn't have a problem. It's the davar shenikdash makir. You have a kometz. One is the kometz nikdash when you put it into the kli sharet, right? So the kli sharet is mekadesh the kometz. So too the kli sharet is going to be mekadesh. I think it's the kli sharet is mekadesh the nisuch hayayin also. Right? I don't remember specifically. And the kli sharet is mekadesh the mayim also.
So the mayim is equivalent to the imorim, not the keli?
Yeah, of course, because the keli doesn't know them. Okay. So Gemara says, Chizkiya says, Kli sharet en mekadeshin ele midah. A kli sharet is only mekadesh midah. So he argues on premise number one. So if that's the case, so what's the problem? Fill it up on Erev Shabbat and have in mind that it shouldn't be mekadesh. And you have no problem of nifsal bilinam. Says the Gemara. You're going to bring in this kli sharet to the Beit HaMikdash, and you're going to say that it wasn't mitkadesh, right? How does anybody know? The Kohanim see you taking out. They saw you fill up a barrel the night before. They see you taking it out the next day. They think you were mikadesh. They think that you were mikadesh. What? Maritayin. They think that you were Mekadesh, and if you were Mekadesh, then they're going to think that there's no Nifsal Belina. Rashi Chizkiya Amar Havadai Matzid Lemishma Mineh De'en Shi'ur Lamayim. Says it's true, there's no Shi'ur. Aval Kiddush Shelo Midat Lo Shamin Al Minah. We don't learn from here that there's Kiddush Shelo Midat. The Tama De Matnitin De'lo Maiti B'Mkudeshet. The reason why the Mishnah says you don't bring Bikli Mikudash, somebody sees you Lumahar. The Shakli Lumito Kli Sharet, you're taking from Kli Sharet Savari, he's going to think, Lida'achi Kadesham Keli Nitanu Bo Me'etmol. You put in the Kli Sharet yesterday. Why just Kli Sharet? Because you want to become Kadosh from when you put it in. The Kivan De'en Shi'ur L'mayim Kiddushim. Since there's no Shi'ur, if there was a Shi'ur, you could say, clearly it wasn't Kadosh because you put too much. But now that there's no shiur, right? Now that there's no shiur, must be it became kadosh. V'kahazina de menaschenu, and I see them pouring it. Shmami, now we see en lina mo'ele b'nesachim. Lina doesn't ruin nesachim. V'nafka min yechurba. They'll stop being mekadesh the wine in the kli sharet from the night before, and they'll be mozeh, they'll be menasech yain pisulim. So he says, I could prove from the Mishnah that en shiur. Why? Because if not, just put extra water. Fill up 6 lugim. That's clearly not kadosh. Then you'll take 3 tomorrow, and it'll be in the kli sharet.
But you can't prove en lo midah.
But lo midah no, because I'll tell you from here that really lo midah no, and they don't let you do it because of maritayim. People were mistaken thinking that you were mekadesh. Man mochach. What's proving that when you put this stuff in the kli sharet, you didn't put it on without the kadesh?
You could say this is negative dot. This is not really kiddush lo midah.
My muchach. When the guy sees you taking it out of there, who knows? First of all, I don't know that negative dot makes a difference. Second of all, he's telling you, my muchach. It could be that in these things, negative dot doesn't make. It's not like mitzvot tzimichot kavanah, negative dot. But kavanah doesn't stop the kedusha of the keli from affecting what you put into it. You shecht an animal, you don't want it to become nevila. Or you kill them, you don't want it to be dead. I didn't want it to be dead.
No, so why is it using lashon of lo midah?
It is the point. The question is, do I need to want it or not? But it's not your assumption that negative kavanah will work. Doesn't seem. The Gemara doesn't imagine it. Amar Bizera, Amar Biyana, Amar Bizera, Afilu Tema, both things off. Yes, Shi'ur Lamayim v'Kli Sharet Emikachin Elamidat. So now, Emikachin Elamidat, you would have said it's a Gizera, maybe they'll say it's Midat. But if you say En Shi'ur Lamayim, so just fill up double and let it go. And they'll realize that it wasn't Kadosh because he filled up too much. Rashi, Rabbi Yanai Omer, Afilu Tema Yes Shi'ur Lamayim, v'Afilu Hachvi Nafik B'nei Churba. What's the problem? Maybe the people will think that you filled it up, a golden pitcher for what? For washing the hands and feet of the Kohen Gadol, who didn't use it from the Kiyor. Now, to wash the Kohen Gadol's feet, it has to be Kadosh? Yossi says, of course. My feet too. Look at Rashi.
That's what they use the cure for. That's why the whole thing.
He's very sharp, this guy.
But they made other ones also.
What?
That Kohen Gadol, he made one for all his friends. The one with the 24 forces.
He just put more forces on the Kiyor.
That's why there's no lines on the cure.
No lines. Yossi agrees, no lines. Yeah. This is where that comes. This comes from that. Le Kohen Gadol Mileum, V'Ketchum Bekeli. She'en mekachim yadayim v'raglayim ela b'mayim mekudashim. Why dumya dekiyor? Shenimshach b'shemen hamishcha, that's also a kli sharet. Umekadeshet memav v'hem lekidush yadayim v'raglayim. Ve'af kiton shel zahav shayu osim l'chvod kohen gadol lekadesh shemenu yadav v'raglav kedamrinim b'seder yomav perek taraf v'kalpi mekudash haya. Has to be mekudash. Va'ati lemeimar hacha lekidush yadayim v'raglayim mileum v'let lehu shi'ura.
You need enough for
Shafil.
washing. Let lehu shi'ura. You need at least to eat, no?
Solely. No, the rabbi only lets the lady stay outside. Mehila. Okay. So we say, Rashi says, "Va'ati lemema hacha lekidush yadayim v'raglayim mil'um, v'le lehu shiura, shafilu hayu me'al lugin." Even if it was 100 lug, re'uyim hem lekeli. You want to tell me by what's it called? You want to tell me? The hatan is here. They made tonight. Oh, Yishama. With the shomer. I would say you should get married every day you came so early. That's the Gemara. We'll put him in the Kisei Kavod. VIP.
Tattooed that one.
This one is tattooed.
And that's the last perek. The perek that we need.
Oh man, no, give me one that's not tattooed.
The one I'm tipped to the first
Here. On page Nun, we're in the middle of the Rashi. So Rashi says, "Va'ati lemema hachzo kiddush yadayim v'raglayim." There's no shiur for how much water, so you're never going to say, "Oh, it's too much water for kiddush yadayim v'raglayim. It didn't become kadosh." So when they see you taking water out of the keli, they'll say, "Oh, they filled up the water." They filled up the water for kiddush yadayim v'raglayim, and it became kadosh. And now I'm taking it out tomorrow, and you see it didn't become nifsal belina, and they're going to come to learn that something that was nikdash in the kli sharet is not nifsal belina. Okay. So that's why when they filled up from Erev Shabbat, they filled up with a kli and a mekudash. The Gemara says, "Nishpecha onet galta." If the water that you filled up for the nisuch hamayim spilled out, or it got uncovered, then you fill up. What do we say in the Mishnah? You fill up from the kiyor, right? Mimalem en hakiyor. Shehayayin vehamayim megulim pesulim legabe mizbeach. If it's uncovered, it's pasul for the mizbeach. So the Gemara says you have to fill up from the cure. So nishpecha, obviously you have to refill from the cure. Why? The water's on the floor. You can. But nitgalta, if the barrel was uncovered, the water is pasul for the mizbeach. Why? So what are we afraid of? Anytime we have uncovered water, what are we afraid of? Snake poison, right? We're afraid the snake put the poison in. Let him strain it. Let him put the water through a strainer. Let's say that our Mishnah disproves Rabbi Nechemiah's statement.
What's the strainer on Shabbat?
Yeah. Is it borer? It's not sakana. Take water from the cure.
For the use of hands, it's irrelevant, really, maybe. Because if there's poison.
I don't know.
It's a hard thing to understand. They're going through a strainer. The water became tameh from.
Didn't become tameh.
I mean,
It's
whatever.
got poison there.
Poison snake.
Whatever. Okay, we think the strainer is going to take that.
That's what we're going to read about right now. Don't jump to conclusions. So we say, Amar Rabbi Nechemiah of the Tanya, misanenet, water that's in this strainer thing. Look in Rashi. Rashi says, La'avrinu ben misanenet, kul yar bela'az. Misanenet shemisanim bo kunditon. Kunditon is some sort of wine, right? Kemo she'osim ba'alei hanuyot. Shetalui kimin kivara. There's some sort of a sieve. Ubo avkat rochel. Has some sort of powder there. V'yayin and wine. V'tachtea keli. Underneath it is another keli. V'akunditon mistanen letocho. And they sift out the kunditon from it. So he says, Yesh bo mishum gilui. Im hinicho beli shemira. If you left the wine or left the water unguarded, kishiur shehiyat gilui hamifurash ba'kol shohatim. The amount of time that water becomes asur with gilui that the Gemara says in Chulin, which is kedesh yatzeh nahash mitachat ozen hakeli. Enough time that the snake could come out from underneath the handle, the handle of the keli, v'yishteh, and go drink from the water, v'yachzor lechoro, and go back to his hole. V'asura b'shtiyah, it's asur to drink. So he says, Rabbi Nechemiah argues, he says, Ematai bizman shetachtona migula. If there's a way for the snake to get into the bottom one, aval bizman shetachtona mechuseh, if the bottom one is covered, aval pi shehelyona migule, even though the top one is uncovered, and ba mishum gilui. It's not a problem of gilui. Mepene she'eres nahash domeh lisfog. The venom of the snake looks somewhat like a sponge. Tzaf ve'omed bimkomo. It will float up on the top of the sifter. It won't go down. It's not going to drain through. Foams or something. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. Ketzef? That's like this fog? That's what you're imagining, right? That can tell me that one time in the army you saw a snake. You never know with these guys that went to the army. Yeah, Akrav, it burns, right?
Black one, Baruch Hashem, not the yellow one. Put my hands in the box.
Afilu Taima. Says Gemara, Afilu Taima Rabbi Nechemiah. We're worried about Juki, man. He's worried.
Yeah. My brother was with me, Moshe. Started driving to the hospital. I'm like, red light from place to place. Too much new. I got there, Rabbi. That's good. But what do you relax, man? You saw it's a black one. It's not dangerous.
Oh, it's stuck on your hand? You couldn't take it off?
You killed it. Khalas. We have to show him the...
Right, the animal.
If it's yellow, I mean, it's a kind of...
Afilu Taima. Afilu Taima Rabbi Nechemiah. So you see, according to Rabbi Nechemiah, it seems like you could sift out the venom because it doesn't go through the strainer. So if water went into if you left my migulim l'chaura, if you put it through the strainer, the venom will stay up. Filu Taima Rabbi Nechemiah. Emadam Rabbi Nechemiah lehedyot. When does Rabbi Nechemiah allow you to use water that had snake venom in it? If you want to drink it. Aval legavoa, but to bring it as a korban, mi amar, does he allow it? Velele Rabbi Nechemiah kediveo na lefechatecha hayirtzecha uyisapanecha amar Hashem tzevaot. This is what you think giving something to Hashem is like clean out the basement type of thing and give it to Hashem. If you had to give a present, if you want to bribe the judge, Yeah. You're gonna give him the stuff that you pulled to him. Yeah, I have a cup of water. And
The snake just.
the snake, we sip. Don't worry. He'll lock it. We'll throw away the key right away if they like you have to give him back. So that's, Hashem says, "Ki melech gadol ani." I'm a great king. What are you giving me your garbage for? You have to give the lechatchila stuff. So even though maybe it's possible to take out the venom, but that's not still ratzui to bring a korban. Hadran alach lulav arava. No, because the kliyat tachton, because the sifter has a top keli, you pour it into, and then it comes into the bottom of it. Halil, hamisha v'shiva. The flute, sorry, hamisha v'shisha. The flute plays either 5 or 6 days on Sukkot. How is that? Zeh halil shel bet hashoeva. That's the flute that they play during the Simchat Bet HaShoeva. Because that one, she'ena doha lo et Shabbat v'lo et Yom Tov. What's it coming to exclude the Mishnah? The flute of Simchat Bet HaShoeva is not doche, but it seems like there is another flute that is doche. No, the flute that they play during the Shirah of the Korban. It's a different type. Rashi. פעמים שוששה, ימים פעמים חמישה. זהו חליל שהיו מחללין לרבות שמחה לבית השואבה. They would play music to make more simcha when they would drink the water. The mefarish b'matniti, like it's going to explain. Bet HaShoeva, kol simcha zu, all of this excitement, eno ela b'shvil nisuch hamayim. It's for the pouring of the water. Ke the mefarish ushavte mayim b'sason. You should pour water with happiness. She'ena doche, hilkach, hal yom tov li'yom b'shabbat. If yom tov is on the first day, so you're only going to miss one day. First day. Pashulu shisha holosh moed. You have 6 days chol moed in Eretz Yisrael. Nimtza halil shisha. So you have 6 nights. Chal yom tov b'chol. If yom tov falls out on a weekday, havuluhu trei yomei Shabbat. 2 days are Shabbat. Trei yomei, Shabbat, the Shabbat, and yom tov the first day the lodachi. Pashulu hamisha. You only have 5 days left for the simcha.
Question is halil, you could call it on Shabbat?
What?
It's not mukseh, nothing?
Can't hear you. What?
This float, it's not mukseh, or
We don't use it on Shabbat. Not on Shabbat and not on Yom Tov. Tosafot. Yeah, sure, we'll see. Tosafot says she'eno doche lo Shabbat velo Yom Tov. Af agav de halil eno asur ela mishum shemi yitaken kli shir. So be'etzim what? Is it an issue to play the flute? Not electric.
I understand,
Right? Kemo, so the isur is if we let you play the flute, if you find it's not tuned, you'll fix it. And that's mitaken mana. Okay, there's what to fix. You do this, you do that. Right? So the same reason for the gezerah and maspikim that we don't clap and we don't do banging on the legs. The perek meshilin. The kaimalat. So if it's only in isur Rabbanan, we all in shibut b'mikdash. So it should be mutar even on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Bet HaShoeva shani kedamrin migmara de'enu ela mishum simcha yetera. Bet HaShoeva is not even part of the avodah. It's extra simcha. On that we didn't say en shibut b'mikdash.
There's no music also on Shabbat, no? Because of the same reason?
No, we don't say that. We'll say
There's no Shabbat.
no. Let the Gemara say. You're talking about fixing it. Itmar Rabbi Yehuda Rav Ina. Chatani simcha shoeva. One had the simcha of the drawing. Chatani hashuva. Zu halil shabet hashuva. The important house. Amar Morzutra. Man de tani sheuva. The one that says of drawing lo mishtabesh is not a mistake. Uman de tani hashuva. The one that says that's important lo mishtabesh. Man de tani sheuva lo mishtabesh is not a mistake. Dechtiv, like it says, Ushavtem mayim besason. You should draw the water in happiness. So therefore, that's why it's called Simchat Bet HaShoeva, because the She'iva, the drawing of the water, demands that we do it b'simcha. That's right, Jack. Uman de Tosafot comments, Chatani She'uva, B'Yerushalmi mefaresh, what's so important about the She'uva? Shemisham sho'avim ruach HaKodesh. She'ashechina shora mitoch simcha. The Shekhinah comes through the Simcha. Tichtiv, like it says, Vahi ken again and again, Vati alav ruach Hashem. and they quote Yonah ben Amitai Shaya me'oleh legalim ubesimchat bet hashoeva shavta alav shechina. Jack, we're coming for berachot next time you start singing. Okay. Uman detani hashuba. The one that says chashuv is not making a mistake. The Amar of Nachman, mitzvah hashuvahi. The nisuch hamayim is a mitzvah hashuva. Uba'a mishesh yimei bereshit. It's prepared from the 6 days of Bereshit. Rashi says the Amran Lael that we said before in the end of the last perek, sheeting that the tubes in the ground under the mizbeach nivreu mishesh yimei bereshit. So it's a mitzvah hashuva. It's Hashem prepared the place for it from Shesh Yimei Bereshit.
I knew you were going there.
Tan Rabbanan. Halil doche et Shabbat divrei Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. V'chachamim omrim af Yom Tov eno doche. Right? Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda says the Halil is doche Yom Tov, but not is doche Shabbat. The Chachamim say now it's not doche Shabbat, it's not doche Yom Tov. So what are they arguing about? Are they talking? What?
Why would the Hakamim differentiate between Yom Tov and Shabbat regarding this mitaken maneh?
They don't.
Why would they?
It's a machloket min hakatzeh lakatzeh. So we say, Amar Rav Yosef, machloket b'shir shel korban. The machloket is about the song of the korban. Meaning, because like we said, there's two songs. There's the songs that they sing, the music they make when they draw the water for the Simchat Bet HaShoeva, and then there's the music that they make when they play, when they're bringing the korbanot, and the Levim are singing. Machloke b'shir shel korban. Rabbi Yossi says, Ikar shira bekeli. The main singing is the playing of the instruments, and therefore it's doche Shabbat. So that the avodah requires shira avodahi. That's part of the avodah. V'doche et Shabbat, and therefore it pushes off the Shabbat. But Rabbanan Savri, the Chachamim hold, ikar shira bepeh. The main singing is by mouth, and therefore v'lav avodahi. The playing of the instruments is not the avodah. Ve'eno doche et Shabbat, and therefore it's not doche Shabbat. Aval shir shel shoeva. But the Simchat Bet HaShoeva music, like we spoke about in our Mishnah, Divrei HaKol, Simcha Yeterahi. It's additional Simcha. Ve'eno doche et Shabbat, and it's not doche Shabbat. Nobody argues on Mishnah. Don't think of Yosef Rabbi Yehuda that says that Halil is doche Shabbat is arguing on Mishnah. No, it's talking about a different case. It's talking about the shira that you play when they bring the korbanot. Rashi, B'shir shel korban, Behalil ha'makeh lefnei ha'mizbeach b'shat nisuch talking about the music that they played in front of the Mizbeach when they were pouring the wine of the Tamid Shel Shachar. That at that time, Shalvim ondim al duchanan, the Levim stand on their platform, ve'omrim shir, and they sing, ve'halil makeh lefnehem, and they have the halil playing, kedidnam b'masechet arachim. Yud bet yom b'shana, 12 days in the year, halil makeh lefnei ha-mizbeach, ve'en omrim shir al mizbeach, ela al hayayin, kedamrinan hata. Ube'oto halil, for that halil, nechlaku Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda lomar shu doche. Why? Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda holds ikar shira, shekorban tzibur ta'on shir min ha-Torah. Korban tzibur requires singing from the Torah. Kedamrina mesechet erachim mikama mikro from a few pesukim. Nesavar Rabbi Yosef ikar ha-shir en olem ken halil makeh. Imashir. Singing music is when you have instruments. V'chen kinoro v'nevalim. And other instruments, hakol, keminyanim mefura hasham, according to the formula, the numbers that it said over there. Hilkach avodahi, the playing of the instruments in avodah. V'chihechi, the tamid doche Shabbat, just like the korban tamid pushes off Shabbat. Shir shelo, the song nami doche Shabbat. And the Chachamim hold ikar, so therefore he holds halil doche et Shabbat. The Chachamim hold ikar shira bepeh. Is halvim omrim ashir. The Levim are saying the shir dvar yom biyomo kigon Hashem haaretz umloa barishon. Kadol Hashem umloa basheni. V'chen kulam. Ub'Shabbat she'i efshar lehalil. You can't have the halil playing. Eno doche. She'en kli shir ha-mitzvah. The musical instruments are not the mitzvah. Later on, we're going to learn where they get these ideas, whether the shira is bepeh or bekeli from Pesach.
Arguing with that Mishnah.
No.
So our Mishnah says only Bet Shu'ava is not Doche.
No. The Mishnah didn't say what's not doche. Didn't say. It said Bet Shua is not doche. Amar Rav Yosef.
Shabbat is not Doche Shu'ava.
What?
It's not Doche Shabbat, it's not Doche Shu'ava.
Huh?
If it's not going to be Doche Shabbat, according to the Chaim, so it shouldn't be Doche Bet Shu'ava.
Bet Shua.
It's not Bet Shu'ava.
It's not doche.
It's much less. It's much
It's not doche. Says Gemara, Amar Rav Yosef. Mina. Sorry.
It's common, but he doesn't know about it.
Amar Rav Yosef. Mina.
Usually he just doesn't know that it's there.
So,
But,
how do I know? Sorry, go back up one line. Aval shir shel shoeva. The singing of Bet Shova Devrei Hakol. Even Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda that says that the shir of the Korban is doche Shabbat. The Simcha Bet Shova is not doche. Simcha Yetera, just extra Simcha. Rashi. Aval shir shel shoeva. Shehaya kol halayla was all night. Al ma'alot hayordot me'ezrat Yisrael Ezrat Nashim. On the steps going from the Ezrat Yisrael to Ezrat Nashim kedekatani v'maditi. V'aleviyim b'kinorot u'menevalim. The Levim are playing the instruments. Devrei Hakol Simcha Yeterahi. Extra Simcha. Ve'ena min Torah. It's not a deoraita. Ela lehabeb et hamitzvot, to make the mitzvot precious. V'lo dahi Shabbat. Amar Yosef. Mina la de behachi pligi. How do I know that what they're arguing about is on the sheet of the Kurban? The Tanya. Kli sharet she'asa ashel etz. A kli sharet, any keli that they use in the Beit HaMikdash. She'asa ashel etz, he made it of wood. Let's say you want to make a cup to catch the blood from the Kurban, and you made it from wood. Rabbi posel. Rabbi says it's pasul. But Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda machshir. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda says it's kasher. My love, behaplik. Where does Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda understand that it's kasher and Rabbi say it's pasul? The machloket is like this. Man de machshar, the one that says that keli of etz is kasher, savar ikar shira bekeli. He holds the shira, the main shira is a keli. So therefore, the musical instruments are part of the service of the Beit HaMikdash. They're an official part of the service. And they're considered a kli sharet. And some of them were made of wood. V'yalfinan mi abuba de Moshe. We learn from this abuba, some keli that they used of Moshe, which was made of wood. So just like the abuba Moshe is made of wood, so too the cup that you catch the blood could be made of wood. Ma'ishnah, they're both kli sharet. Uman de pasil, the one that says that a wooden keli is pasul. Savar, he holds ikar shira bepeh. The main singing is by mouth. V'lo yalfinan abu babu de Moshe. So we don't learn from Moshe Rabbeinu's abub, from his instrument. Why? Because it's not a kli sharet. Because it's only an accessory. That's not where they're arguing from.
So Aaron a Keli Sharet or no?
Yeah. It's covered with metal. It's metal. Lo, the kule alma ikar shira bekli. Everybody agrees the main shira is with a keli. The hacha bedanim efsha mishi efsha kamiflugi. Question is, could you learn something that could be wood from something that can't be metal from something that could be metal? The abub only works if it's metal. What? Wood, sorry. The abub only works if it's wood. So therefore you can't tell me, oh, learn the kli sharet that you could make from metal from something that has to be wood. Can't learn efsha mishi efsha. Right? Man de machshir, the one that says it's kash, everybody holds ikar shira bekeli. Right? No, the kule alma ikar shira bekeli. Could I learn something possible from something impossible? Man de machshir, the one that says that a wood keli sharet is kasher savar danim efsha mishi efsha. You learn something possible from something impossible. So I could learn the kli sharet that you can make from metal from the abub that you can only make from wood. Uman de pasil savar lo danim efsha mishi efsha. You can't learn the kli sharet that you have the option to make it from metal from the abub de Moshe. That's the only way it works if it's made from wood. That's why it's an exception. Says the Gemara, I'll give you another way to learn it. The kule alma ikar shira bepeh. Maybe everybody agrees that the main singing is verbal singing. Ve'en danim efshar mishi efshar. And you don't learn efshar mishi efshar. I don't know why you have to say that. Once you say Ikar Shira is Bepeh,
Why do you have to say Efshar Mishir Efshar?
look at Rashi. V'baiteima Ikar Shira Bepeh. Ve'en danim efshar mishi efshar. So Rashi says Hachi Pirusho. The Kule Alma, everybody agrees Ikar Shira Bepeh v'lekel melech Abub. Don't learn from the Abub because even though it's made of wood, it's not a Kli Sharet, it's just an accessory. Even if you want to disagree with me and you want to say Ikar Bekeli, then the main Shira is with a utensil. Afilu Achi me Abub lo Gama, don't learn from Abub, then Danim Efshar Mishi Efshar. So one of the two, but meaning don't learn from the Abub. Nobody learns from the Abub. V'hacha, so what's the machloke by a Kli Sharet? Nothing to do with musical instruments. V'hacha b'meilaf menorah b'klalei u'prateh or b'ribuyeh u'mi'uteh kamefligi. Right, we have a system that we know called
Ikar is Bekeli, so then...
En Danim Efshar Mishi Efshar.
No, but you're not learning, that's only for Abu.
Whatever.
But we're saying, Imtim Zolamar Ikar Bekeli, Afilu Hachi me Abub lo Gama.
Why? En Danim Efshar Mishi Efshar.
But then you have a problem.
What's the problem?
Everybody agrees that it's Keli.
So what?
It's Keli Sharet.
So
We're
what?
saying it's not a Keli Sharet.
No, the Chachamim are saying you can't make a wood Kli Sharet in other places where you could make it from metal. Well, you bring me the one case they had a keli that had to be made of wood. The question is, how do we learn the menorah? How do we learn out the menorah? Right, the menorah itself, how do we learn it from? There's two systems of learning. One is called klal u'prat u'klal, which we're familiar with from Shachrit, hopefully we say that part. And the other one, the alternative is called ribui mi'ut and ribui. Now depending how you look at the Torah, you wind up getting different results by feeding the same Pesukim into the computer, let's say. Let's let Rashi explain. Look at Rashi. V'hacha b'meilach b'norah b'klalei u'prateh u'b'ribuyeh u'mi'uteh kamefligi. Hachi garsina. V'lo garsina mi menorah. Yesh shedorshim et haTorah b'klal u'prat. V'yesh shedorshim ota b'midat ribuy u'mi'ut. Hadorsha b'klal u'prat mash malei. So he understands like this. First, the Torah tells you a general mitzvah. For example, in our case, it will be ve'asita temenorah. When it says ve'asita temenorah, that's a rule. You can make the menorah unlimited. Didn't tell me. That's a klal. Make the menorah. Then the Torah tells you zahav tahor. That's a prat. So the Torah is telling you can make the menorah only from gold. So you had a klal. If you would have stopped after v'asita temenorah, you would have assumed you can make the menorah from anything. That's the klal. Now you gave a detail. Zahav tahor. En lecha bichlal ela ma shebefrat. The prat just defined the klal. The prat just told you when I said you can make a menorah, I just redefined that to being only gold. Then the Torah repeats itself and it says miksha ta'aseh et menorah. You're giving me enough miksha, make it from anything. But you just told me it has to be gold. So now I'm conflicted. First you tell me only gold. Now you come and you tell me again, anything again. So it must be coming to include more things than gold. But since you told me gold already, so what if you're going to tell me anything, so why say gold? Must be that you want me to take things that are similar to gold. Now you have to use your brains and figure out, well, what's the similarity that I'm looking for? That yellow things? Metal things. So I'll say, you can make the menorah from all metal things. And then the menorah will be a binyan av to all kli sharet. Just like the menorah has to be made from metal, so too everything has to be made from metal. That's if I learn klal u'prat u'klal. Let's see it in Rashi. Mashma le prat haba hara klal pirusho k'shel klal.
I didn't get it.
When the prat, when you have a detail that comes after a klal, that totally defined the klal. Pirusho shel klal hilkach klal u'prat. If you only have a klal u'prat, for example, ve'asita menorah is a klal. Zahav tahor is a prat. That would leave me holding that the only type of menorah you can make is gold. אין בכלל אלא מה שבפרט. ואפילו דברים הדומים לפרט, even if you want to make the menorah out of silver, which is very similar to gold, אין נידונים עמו. You can't understand that. לפי שהוא פירושו. The prat defined the cloud. Mahu klal hakalu lemala. What was the set? What was the rule that I gave you before? I'm defining it for you now. Zahav.
So it's not a rule.
Zeh shani omer lecha achshav. It is. It's a rule that has whatever I put into it. Zahav. Could be zahav achesef. Whatever, depends what it says.
Okay, so one klal. So one rule klal, which is a plural thing. The klal is a plural thing, and now you're giving me a one.
Who told you that rules have to have a lot of details? Maybe it's a simple rule. So we say, lefi shu pirusho. Ma'u klal hakalu lemala zeh shani omer lecha achshav. Velo yoter. V'chi ati klal sheni. When the second klal comes, achar hapra ba le'osif alav. It's coming to add onto it. V'dayecha. So it's enough for you to add im tosif alav et hadomim lo. Things that are similar to it. Hilkach iyata dan al yedei klal aharon. You cannot bring in with the second klal, with the additional klal. You're limited to bringing in ela dvarim hadomim leprat, things that are similar to it. Shelo nitrabu mitechila, that you didn't put in from before. So you got en lecha bichlal en klal upratu klal iyata dan. You can only add on from the second klal ela me'ena prat, things that are similar to the prat. Since, let's explain it a little clearer. Since the first prat was so limiting, so the second klal is clearly coming to add something. It's going to add things that are very similar to the klal.
Maybe it's unpure gold. Maybe it's 14 karat.
Okay, so that the Torah gave to the Chachamim to understand which similarities are important. I told you, we could say yellow.
Goldfield.
I can say anything I want. The Chachamim sat and they understood what's the main criteria the Torah wants. How to define that criteria. Uman the Darish be ribuyu mi'ut. Lo mashma le prata ba achar klal pirusho shel klal. He doesn't understand this rule that you say klal uprat en lecha bichlal lemashe befrat. That when you put a prat after a klal, it totally, like yours, it made it a one item rule. Nah. Ela mishum de beklal kamen et rabba kol. When you give an open rule, and it could be anything. Hakol b'mashma ati prata batra'a lemi'ute mimashma'ute. It's going to limit the implication, and it's going to say it's only things that are similar to the prat. If you learn ribuyu miut, it's not saying that the whole prat, the whole klal is only what's in the middle. No. The miut took away anything that's not similar to it. Basically, when you say ribuyu miut, you're already holding at the same place where klal pratu klal was holding. Because I only excluded what's not similar to the prat, but it's not only the prat. So at that point, when I say make a menorah from gold, make a menorah as a ribuy, anything. From gold means and things that are similar to gold, meaning metal. Now when I add a ribuy on top of that, you can't tell me add on a ribuy of things that are similar to the prat. Why? I already have that. V'chi adar ati ribuy harini behadeh, ata l'ribuy kol milui. The elu devarim she'en ke'en aprat lo yitzrich daha'im atu le mimi'uta. The loimad wasn't excluded from the mi'ut. V'achi amar behedya beperek nimaradin gabe kol ha'niskalin netlin demand darish mute mash maleh beribuy mi'ut lehudeh belo ribuy haron kol hadomim leprat. So how's he going to learn? Let's see it inside. Ve'asita mat Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda darish ribuy mi'uti. Rabbi darish klalu prate ve'asita menorah klal. Zahav tahor prat. Only zahav. Miksha te'aseh menorah hazar ve'klal are included. Klalu pratu klal iyata dana ela kena prat. The only thing you have from the last klal is things that are similar to the prat. Ma prat mefurash shel matechet. Just like the prat is metal. Avkol shel matechet. Every menorah that you make must be metal. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, תריש ריבוי ומיעוטב, he's דורש ריבוי ומיעוט. ועשית מנורת ריבה. זהב טהור מעט. מקשה תעשה המנורה חזה וריבה. ריבה ומיעה וריבה, ריבה, call you include everything. What do you need? You need to exclude one thing for the mi'ut. My Rabbi called me. Any material is good. Plastics. My mi'at, shel cheres. Clay. Clay is not good.
Otherwise,
Right, pointless. Right. You need to take something out. Yosef was getting good everything.
getting nervous.
Rashi, dal korchach mi'uta lemi'ute ata. Vezeu, the worst thing to make a menorah is cheres. It cracks and it gets dirty. It's bazula gavoa. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen.
Very hard. Baruch.